Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really incredible multi-textual journey. We're going to literally trace a path from ancient decrees all the way down into your deepest personal psychology. We're taking a sweeping look at how these foundational texts build on each other, moving from massive cosmic ideas right down to how you understand your very own soul.
So, let's separate our sources out. As usual, we'll start with the Torah, then move to the Talmud, then the Tanya, then the Shaluach, and finally, we'll pull it all together into one powerful synthesis.
All right, layer one, the Torah, foundational love. You are children. We're starting at the absolute foundation here, with the Torah, specifically Deuteronomy. And what's wild is this sudden, very serious shift in tone that introduces boundless love. Think about it. If you look at the previous sections, Ekev, Devarim, the start of Rhea, there's a lot of chaos, right? Strict warnings, raw intensity. But then, almost out of nowhere, the text grounds us with this incredibly gentle reminder. You are children. It's a huge shift. It's saying, look, you're beloved children. You might make mistakes, you might totally mess things up, but that foundational love, it remains absolutely steady.
And it's really interesting, this ancient comfort echoes perfectly in modern pop culture. Just look at Matisyahu's song Dispatch the Troops. He literally sings, don't you know wherever you go thick and thin, you are still my children. As our source notes point out, these lyrics are basically pure Rebbe Nachman's stories set to music. It's a modern reminder that despite our flaws, the connection is just never broken.
Now, right alongside this love comes a very specific designation. Here's a crucial note for Sarah for us to keep in mind. The text calls the people an Am Segulah, which usually gets translated as a treasured or chosen people. But, and this is absolutely key, being an Am Segulah does not mean being morally or inherently superior to anyone else. Not at all. It simply means being highly directed. It's about having a distinct dedication, a specific mission, and a totally unique role to play in the world.
And we can actually see how this unique mission translates into super specific daily practices. Take the Vilna Gaon, for example. He looks at the dietary laws, specifically that famous rule about not boiling a kid in its mother's milk, and he structures it into this incredibly precise, analytical 3x2 matrix. The Torah repeats the word kid 3 times, right? So the Vilna Gaon maps those to inclusions and exclusions. Under life and status, it includes naturally dead meat but excludes non-kosher animals like pigs. Under offspring, a fetus counts as meat, but the placenta? Excluded. Under substance, forbidden animal fat is included, but blood is excluded. It's just a brilliantly rigorous way of defining exactly how this specific mission gets lived out in our messy physical reality.
Moving on to layer 2, the Talmud, choosing the story, narrative-shaping law.
So here, we shift away from raw categorical law and get into the power of narrative. To really get inside the Talmudic mind, we have to understand this concept of ketzad. It's this brilliant piece of Hebrew and Aramaic wordplay. It sounds like tzad, which means which side, but it actually translates to in what manner. It represents this rigorous, generational method of questioning, exactly how and from which side do we approach the truth. It's the exact method of cross-examining witnesses and parsing out legal details that's been handed down for centuries.
And this analytical questioning brings us to a really fascinating incident in Tractate Chullin with Rabbi Yochanan. Someone brings him a question about a kid roasted in forbidden fat. Now, Rabbi Yochanan doesn't just rattle off a simple yes or no binary law. No, he provides a narrative ruling. He tells them to peel off the outer layer and eat until they reach the fat, and he justifies it by declaring that the kid was actually lean.
So here's the crucial takeaway from this. In the Talmudic framework, the sages love establishing Jewish law through stories that receive sacred validation. It's not just about cold empirical data. The story itself ultimately defines the truth. The narrative of how an event went down is literally what shapes the practical law.
Which really begs a question for all of us, doesn't it? It's a lot like choosing to believe the poetic narrative of the Exodus, water standing up like walls of glass, over literal, dry historical facts. So do we choose strict empirical thinking, or do we choose the meaning embedded in the story? Well, the Talmud suggests that sometimes the sacred story actually is the higher truth.
All right, layer 3, the Tanya, cosmic human purpose, the descent of divine light. Now we're going to zoom way out to the cosmic level. The Tanya takes the incomprehensibly infinite and somehow breaks it down into one highly specific number, 613. That's for the 613 commandments of the Torah. But how on earth do we get from infinite divine light to that specific number?
Well, through this cosmic process called tzimtzumim. It starts with infinite light, shining endlessly above. But to actually sustain our physical world, this light goes through numerous contractions, stepping down its intensity over and over, until it's divided broadly into those 613 commandments. And here is the truly beautiful part. These commandments map perfectly onto the human form. Specifically, they illuminate the 248 limbs and 365 sinews of the human body. Every single physical action corresponds directly to a divine extension of light. How cool is that?
And you really need to notice the Alter Rebbe's specific phrasing here. He writes that this entire elaborate cosmic structure descends to illuminate the soul of man. He doesn't say it's just for the Jew or for one exclusive club. No, this entire system exists for man, for all of humanity. Because as the source text beautifully reminds us, God has many children all across the earth, and this ultimate purpose, it's a universally human one.
Okay, layer 4. Me Shilowich. Deep soul accounting. Cultivating composure.
Stepping away from all that massive cosmic architecture, we enter the incredibly intimate psychological realm. And here's another bright note for Sarah. The Mei Shalach offers this absolutely stunning piece of psychological advice rooted in the biblical command to count the Omer. He insists that before anyone sets out to triumph or take major action, they desperately need Yeshuv Hadat. That translates to deep composure, clarity of mind, and a really rigorous process of deep soul accounting. Basically, you have to know your own mind before you try to conquer the world.
Amazingly, this ancient practice of refining ourselves over a 7-week period, it perfectly mirrors modern psychology. Specifically, it connects directly to steps 4 and 10 of modern 12-step recovery programs. Step 4 asks us to make a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, right? While Step 10 demands continued personal inventory. The Meshilotz was literally telling us centuries ago that constant, composed self-reflection is the absolute prerequisite for any true spiritual or personal victory.
Finally, layer 5, synthesis. What is our story? Bringing it all together.
Wow, we've been on quite a journey today. We started with foundational, boundless love and super specific dietary laws in the Torah. Then we moved through the Talmud, uncovering the immense power of narrative to shape our realities. We zoomed way up with the Tanya to see how infinite cosmic light contracts directly into our physical limbs and daily actions. And then we grounded it all back down with the Meshalach's demand for deep, fearless personal soul accounting.
So when you synthesize all these stepping stones together, the law, the narrative, the cosmic purpose, and that deep psychological reflection, it leaves us facing the ultimate introspective question about our own lives. What is our story? Think about it. If the truth is defined by the narrative, like the Talmud suggests, and if we're required to take a fearless inventory of ourselves, what story are you currently writing with your life?
And as you reflect on your own unique mission, don't forget that foundational love we started with. You are a child navigating a really complex world. So ask yourself, what is your specific dedication? What kind of Segulah are you? Keep that deep soul accounting going, find your composure, and discover the unique light you're meant to bring into this world. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.